Hello, welcome to Rush Media, and if you're new here, nice to see you. Today we're looking at the Comica WM100 Plus A wireless microphone system. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to compare it to this ultra budget, about 40 quid's worth of wireless microphone. So this comes with one wireless microphone that can plug straight into a 3.5mm jack, whereas this one can plug into 3.5mm jack or XLR. And it costs a lot more. So that was £40. This one costs about £240. So you would expect this one to perform a lot better. Now this one does also operate two wireless mic systems, and it receives it into one receiver. So you can have two people mic'd up at separate locations, and then you get that all received into the one receiver, and you can plug that straight into your XLR port in your camera or your recorder, or if you have a 3.5mm mic jack in your camera, like in a mirrorless or DSLR, then you can plug it into that too. So let's get into the box. That's quite nice. So it's got a lovely little bag. Feels actually surprisingly good quality. The zips work. Inside, a micro USB cable and a nice stretchy coiled cable with a locking mechanism there, so you can lock it into the radio so it's not going to come detached. The same, but with an XLR. Here's a locking, again, it locks in with your rather sizable mic there. And another one. I wouldn't call it a dead cat, more like a dead flea. Oh, it pops out there. It's like a caterpillar or something. These are the hooks. So these will clip on, and then you'll be able to clip these on in a belt loop. It's fairly sturdy. It's like sort of a semi-hard case, I'd call it. But that's nicely soft, so you can grip that all day if you need to. And then what do we have here? So we've got our user manual there. Okay, this looks like a shoe mount adapter. So you can put that in the top of your DSLR mirrorless camera, and then screw it in there, and then fix one of these on top. So there you go, there's a screw hole in the bottom. Now, they are very light, and they are plastic. Another one. And this looks like the receiver. And then in the top, so it says output, so I'm guessing that's an auxiliary, and then you've got a headphone. Oh, that's quite good. So you're not going to lose these latches because they sort of stay in place. Oh, I guess it doesn't come with batteries. So if you're putting it straight into the mic port, you put it in the output section. And that screws in there. That means that's not coming out easily. And then that would plug straight into your camera. Or if you wanted to use XLR, there you go. And then you've got this one for your monitoring through headphones, just there. I'm not expecting too much from this because it is so cheap, but it's really just a backup system that I've had for, God, I got it last year and I've never even opened the box, so. So what have we got here? Bookmark or something. Quite a professional looking manual, actually, nice colour manual. A lot going on. Actually quite well packaged. It's good packaging, and that's massive, isn't it? Oh, and it's not 3.5, just like a phono, whatever size that is. That's quite large. I thought it would be smaller. So I guess you'd have to get an adapter it looks like it takes AAAs, so you need 2 AAAs for that. The mic has is that like some sort of mini XLR? Plus, you get the Madonna headset, and you've got the transmitter here. And, oh great, so there's an adapter. So the adapter means that now you can plug it into your camera. Oh, it even says camera on this little label here. So straight into your camera. And then this one says phone. So this one can go into a phone. That's great. So if you look, you can see that there's, make sure I'm holding it in the right place, there's 3 lines there for the phone one, and there's 2 lines there for one that goes into a camera. So that's how you can tell them apart. Apart from the sticker. So all in all, actually, you get quite a lot of stuff in this one. You see I've made quite a mess here. But I must admit, it does feel quite cheap. So these are AA's you need for this. That's quite odd. So AA's for the transmitter and AA's for the receiver. So what I'm going to do now to test these, I'm going to compare them to, I've got a Rode NTG4 that's plugged in using an XLR to 3.5mm mic adapter straight into my GH5. So I'm going to compare it that way. So this is me speaking normally into a Rode NTG4 Plus. Okay, now let's compare that to the Comica. This is the sound of the Comica mic, and I've got it placed in the normal place. It's set to mono right now, so it should be recording evenly on both the left and the right channel. You can set these up to record one on the left channel, one on the right channel with both the Comica mics, so you're separating those 2 channels, which is really, really useful if you want to apply different effects to the different audios. Say you've got someone with a male voice or a female voice that are very, very different, and you want to apply a blanket effect to the whole channel. It makes it a lot easier in post-production, so that's really, really useful. So I'm not even speaking loudly now, so how would it sound if I whispered? Can you still hear what I'm saying? And how about now, if I speak loud, is that peaking? Is it wrecking it? Now, bearing in mind, I'm using the standard settings in my GH5, and it's just picking up through the 3.5mm jack, and that's going straight from the receiver. Now, this is the Fifine technology wireless system. It connected really easily, and I started pressing the 1 button on the top, and it changes the frequency, but it seems to automatically stay connected to the actual receiver. So hopefully the sound is good.
I thought it would make sense to also try out the Britney Bitch style mic headset piece to see if that sounds any different. Just see if I'm peaking. Any plosives wrecking it? Probably.
One other thing I want to note is that this mic capsule seems quite big. So this is the Comica, and the Fifine looks slightly bigger. But then when you actually take off this wind protector, it's actually quite sensible and small. With the Fifine, you take that off. It's not a particularly high quality piece anyway, and it's still quite massive. Another thing I wanted to test out was that when you've got both Comica mics plugged in, you can actually split the channels so that you use the left channel for one and right channel for the other, so you can have 2 different dialogues going on and they don't overlap each other, which is really, really great. Let's just test it out. So this should be the left channel, I think. And now here we have the right channel. So when I first took these out of the box, the Comica mics, I did notice that they were plastic and wondered, you know, are they going to be up to the task? But after having used them, they do feel really, really sturdy. And you compare that with the Fifine, and that just feels really bendy, flexible, cheap plastic. certainly in comparison to that, that's solid. So it is plastic, but it feels really, really solid. And it's good that it's light, because you don't want this to be annoying when you're wearing it, because you might be wearing it for very, very long periods of time and you want it just to be effortless. Slide down the back of your trousers or whatever, keep it there, and that does the job there really, really well. Now what I'm going to do is test out the range of both these systems. So I'm going to go outside to do that. It's going to be a fairly noisy environment, so we're going to see how we do out there.
Okay, I'm outside now. It's a slightly rainy day and I'm next to some train tracks, and I've got all the microphones on me now. So we're going to start with a Comica, this one in the centre, with the added dead cat, as it were, on top. So what I'm going to do now, I've got this space behind me. All the way up to that gate there is 60 metres. That's probably about 15 to 20 metres now, so hopefully that's still working. Now we're approaching the halfway point, so I'd say this is just over 30 metres away now. Now we're up to about 50 metres. How does that seem? 50 metres here. Hopefully that's still working. We're at 60 metres now, so hopefully that's going to be working. Now there's a lot of noise around me, so I've got cars driving past, lots of engines going. So whether that works or not and affects the sound quality, it's quite a good test actually to see what it's like with a dead cat on. Let's see how that did. Okay, so now we're going to try the Comica mic with the standard cover on it. So it's just like a slight wind protector. And there's trains coming past, so there's a lot of background noise. So hopefully that's going to give us a good idea of what this is going to perform like in real world situations. This is about 15 meters away, so hopefully we're still getting it picking up. So this is 30 meters. How does that seem? Are you still picking me up? I'm speaking in a normal volume. Now let's approach the area where the road is. There's all this traffic coming down. All this traffic could severely affect the pickup here. So now that I'm right next to the main road, it's very, very loud. I can barely hear myself, and we're at 60 meters. How does that sound? Okay, now we're testing both the Comicas on separate channels. So the left is one, right is the other, and we're going to have them both on me at the same time. Do you know what? I'm going to move them slightly so they're both equidistant. So now they're equidistant from my mouth, so let's see how that works out. So this is at 15 meters with both the Comica mics at the same time, split over a left and right channel. So this is at 15 meters with both the Comica mics at the same time, split over a left and right channel. Okay, so we're about 45 meters. How does that sound? Is it still working? The traffic should be getting a bit louder now. Okay, so we're about 45 meters. How does that sound? Is it still working? The traffic should be getting a bit louder now. So behind me there's a lot of traffic here, and this area is quite full of interference. So how does that sound now? We've got both Comicas. I'm speaking a bit louder now because I can tell the area I'm in is very, very loud. So how's that working out? So behind me there's a lot of traffic here, and this area is quite full of interference. So how does that sound now? We've got both Comicas. I'm speaking a bit louder now because I can tell the area I'm in is very, very loud. So how's that working out? Okay, now we've got the Fifine on. So the gain is set to 0 decibels, standard for the mic, but it's also set to automatically adjust if it starts to peak. So at the moment I'm about 4 meters away from the camera, so I can see from here on the screen that it's picking up. And also there's a red light on the receiver which shows me that it's connected, and I should be able to see that from further away. Now the light on the other one wasn't visible, so I couldn't tell if it was still connected, but this I should be able to see if it starts to disconnect. Plus it has an aerial that pops out to extend the range. Now it looks like it's still in the red, so we're about 15, coming up to 15 meters now. Is it still working? Can you still hear me properly? Are the birds chirping? Is that getting in there? Now we're hitting the 30-meter halfway point. Can still see the red light, which is really, really useful actually. Really visible from even from 30 meters. I can still see that it's connected, so I feel confident. And there's no flashing or flickering, so it's probably working fine. That's actually quite impressive. I can still see it's red, and we're up to 45 meters. Wow, that's impressive. I really didn't expect it to reach that far away for such a cheap piece of equipment. Now let's go all the way up to 60 and see how this fares on the road. So here we are, we're at 60 meters here, and we're right by the road, so like the light is flickering on and off. So I'm staying still now. It looks like the red light might be steady. So around this distance, if I move around, or if I block the antenna,
So in conclusion, I'm actually pleasantly surprised by the Fifine system because for the amount of money you pay, you do get something that is workable. Now there was a lot of noise that I had to fix in post-processing, but yeah, pleasantly surprised by it. Now it's only 40 to 50 pounds, and I think where it would really shine is places where it's not so serious. You know, you got to love that little aerial, which gives you that good range. So I didn't expect it to go up to 60 meters like it did, but that was kind of, I feel, pushing the boundaries of how far it could go. But for instance, if you were just presenting something out in the public, say you were out in the streets and you just wanted some amplification that was simple, and you had a battery powered speaker or something like that, then I think this could be really, really good for that. Recording professional level stuff, I'd say definitely not. At a push, if you have nothing else, if this is all the budget can stretch for, then great, pick it up, why not? I'm definitely going to find uses for it. And the Comica system, it was clearly superior sound wise. I mean, let me know what you think in the comments below. And also the flexibility, having two mics separate as well and into one receiver, it's really, really useful. And being able to control so much of what's going on from your camera just with the buttons, simple button operation there, is really, really useful as well. And I think it's really hardy as well. It feels really strong, it feels decent quality, and I'm glad it's plastic in a way, because I think if it was metal there probably would be some sort of noise there as well, and it makes it light enough that you're not going to worry about wearing it for a long day. And if you work in, say, weddings and you want to get it on a groom, and people that aren't necessarily used to having radios, they're not even going to notice it's in there, which is perfect, especially if you're putting it in a bride's dress or something like that. You don't want it to be really, really irritating and heavy. And as I say, this is a great system for that, and I'd say it's super reliable. And when are you ever going to be more than 60 meters away from what you're filming and hoping to get audio from? Like, that really is, and the fact is it will go further for sure. The amount of interference that I was probably getting from metal and stuff like that, it was all around me, and right next to the train tracks there's going to be all kinds of radio signals going on, I'm sure. So the fact that it went up to 60 meters there and would go further, I feel totally confident in this system. I don't think there were any drops at all in all the footage I took with that one. So very, very happy with the system. If you can afford it, get both. Why not? Thanks for stopping by, and if you liked what I did here, then please leave a thumbs up. Yeah, see you down in the comments if there's anything you want to talk about, or if you have any questions, then let me know and I'll get back to you. And if there's anything else you want me to test, I'd be happy to do that. And if this is the kind of content you're into, then subscribe. If not, then it was good to see you just for this one video, and I hope it was helpful. So take it easy, and see you on the next one.